Welcome to Air Emergencies Simply Explained. In today's video, we will be looking into the baffling case of Saudia Flight 163. August 19, 1980. Saudia Flight 163 departs Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for Jeddah. The Lockheed L-1011 had originated its flight in Karachi, Pakistan. Many of the passengers are Pakistanis on a pilgrimage to Mecca. Captain Muhammad Ali Kowityer is in command. He is joined by First Officer Sami Abdullah M. Hassanain and American flight engineer Bradley Curtis. 7 minutes after takeoff, the flight engineer reports that smoke detectors have activated in the A and B cargo area located near the tail of the aircraft. The captain asks whether they should return back to the airport and then asks the flight engineer for the checklist procedure. The flight engineer goes through the emergency checklist. However, the flight engineer is dyslexic or has a reading disability and is unable to locate the proper checklist. He leaves the cockpit to check the situation at the rear of the aircraft and finds that the back of the cabin has filled with smoke. The captain decides to return to the airport. He then finds the required checklist before calling the flight engineer a jackass. The flight engineer returns to the cockpit and reports a fire in the back of the cabin. Air traffic control is informed of the situation and clears Flight 163 to return to the airport. The airport's emergency services are also alerted. Fire has now burned through the cables connecting the number 2 engine to the throttles in the cockpit. The pilots are unable to adjust its power setting. They are forced to shut down the number 2 engine, and as Flight 163 nears the airport, the flight engineer states that there is no reason for an evacuation. For some reason, the pilot does not believe that the fire is that serious. After touchdown, Flight 163 does not immediately stop. Instead, it continues slowly towards the end of the runway before turning off into a taxiway. The aircraft then turns into another taxiway before stopping. It takes the aircraft 2 minutes and 40 seconds after touchdown to come to a complete stop. Fire crews observe flames through the aircraft's windows. However, the fire crews are yet unable to open the aircraft's doors because the pilots have yet to shut down the engines. It takes 3 minutes and 15 seconds after stopping before the engines are shut down. But it takes the fire crew another 23 minutes before they are able to open the aircraft's R2 door. By this time, all the 301 passengers and crew has already died. 3 minutes later, a flash fire occurs and the aircraft is consumed by flames. All of the victims were found in the front section of the aircraft. Investigators discovered that the fire had started in the C3 cargo department. However, what initially caused the fire was never determined. Investigators were also unable to determine why the pilots failed to properly evacuate the aircraft. One theory was that the pilots could not get the plug-type doors to open in time. Captain Kowityer's record described him as a slow learner and needed more time in training. First Officer Hassanain's record showed that he was once removed from flight school for poor performance. Flight Engineer Curtis's records showed that he had failed to qualify as either a captain or a first officer. He also had to pay for his own L-1011 flight engineer training in order to keep his job. In response to the accident, Saudi revised its training and emergency procedures. Lockheed also redesigned the L-1011 to better deal with in-flight fires. Saudia Flight 163 was the deadliest accident involving a Lockheed L-1011. It also remains the deadliest aviation disaster to occur in Saudi Arabia. That is it for today's video. I hope that you learned something new, and please subscribe and click the notification bell for more Simply Explained Air Emergency videos.